Hello, everybody. So, I want to address two, or rather, respond to two questions that came as a result of my last video. Now, in my last video, I addressed the new trend of women talking about the fact that they cannot get married to men that are from a one parent home. So, basically, they cannot get married to a man who, in their words, haven't felt the love of a father whose father walked away, who doesn't know how to treat a woman, because they literally believe that how you're trained is what you're going to give back in your own relationship. And in that video, I spoke about how all you need to do is to date a healed man. Now, two questions came out from that video. One said, Sarah, can you address who a healed man is? I am not a relationship expert, but I'm going to be talking about this from personal experience. And the second one was someone wanted to ask that, does that mean how they raised you doesn't matter? So yeah, let's jump right into it. And I'll start with the first one that said, does that mean your background or how you raised is not important? Trust me, it's really, really, really important. Yes. I know that the tendency of someone that was raised from a two-parent family where they found love or saw love. Now, I'm not talking about someone whose dad had probably passed. No, I'm talking of someone who maybe the father was present, the mother was present, and he saw love. He saw his mother cook with the dad, just be peaceful, right? There's a tendency that he's going to grow up that way to say, this is what I grew up seeing. I grew up in love, and the tendency of him giving love is more than someone who did not see those things. Now, that is why I said he'll date a healed person, because there are some situations as well where the father had stayed and the mother has stayed. But trust me, it was better the father left, because, or the mother left, because it was such a toxic space that this same person. So if you're saying, like, okay, I'd rather date someone from a two parent family, do you want to date someone from a two parent family that is very toxic? Or will you rather date someone who said, I witnessed abuse, and my mother witnessed my father abusing her, she walked away, or vice versa, like the man saw abuse and walked away. You get what I mean? Like, it's basically, yes, how your upbringing is also very important, but most importantly, date a healed person, someone that, regardless of what they saw, whether they came from a very nice family, or they came from a toxic family, or they came from a one parent family, decided that I have trauma and I need to heal from that. Now, how do you know someone who has healed from that? The first way to know someone that has healed, be it a man or a woman, is, but I'm going to use a man for now, is that a man that has healed is emotionally available. Yeah. I will say this because a lot of times, I mean, if you grew up in, especially in a typical African home, oh, I used to hate going for funerals, because the worst part of it is that you're standing there and you're seeing this boy who had just lost probably his mother, his father, or a very dear one. And people, regardless of how old he is, expect him to be there for everybody. So you hear words like, be a man, hold on. If you're crying, what do you expect these women to do? Or you see a man who had lost his wife, or who is going through a divorce, and the friends will laugh about it. They will not acknowledge how he feels. Now, this makes men to grow up thinking that, like, it's not okay to show emotions, and they bottle up so much and they stop becoming emotionally available. A healed person knows that it is okay to cry, it is okay to be happy, it is okay to make a woman know that you're crazy about her, it is okay to be your authentic self, it is okay to to be emotionally available. Now, someone who has taken out time to heal has shot the norm of everything the society told them growing up. Now, another way you know a healed man is, a healed man takes responsibility stroke accountability of his actions. Yeah. So one word I love so much is when people say, because I had to learn it as well, even in the corporate world, is to say, I take full responsibility for my actions. That's like, there's a first step to forgiveness that comes with that. When someone offends you and they're able to say, you know what, I know that I have offended you. and I do take responsibility. So a healed man would take responsibility of his actions and not say, no, 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 I'm a man, I can't be wrong. No, whatever situation, as long as they know they're wrong, they would take responsibility, they would take accountability for that, and they would try to make it work. A real man knows that he is supposed to take responsibility for what he did, and not to say, you know what, I'm treating you this way because I have a father that treated my mom wrong. No, a healed man would take responsibility and say, oh, I might have missed it somewhere. Growing up in a two-parent home, in a one-parent home, probably I didn't see that kind of love. So I'm going to take out time to read, to understand, to go for therapy. That means to watch videos, basically to change my mindset. But for you to even do any of that, you have to first take responsibility. You have to first take accountability, because if you do not believe that you are wrong, then you can't do anything about it, right? Now, a real and a healed man, you will know this by the way they talk about their past relationship. What do they do or say when they're talking about their past relationship? It could be their past relationship with their father, or an ex that really jilted them or something like that. What do they do? When you talk to someone that has daddy issues and mommy issues that hasn't healed, you know. But when you talk to someone who has had these issues but they've healed, you will know. Let me take an example that is not even in relationship. This is work. I had a very terrible work experience from my first job. Like, it was terrible. You know that kind of job where you put in your 125 and 2 million%, but whatever you put, there's always someone better than you, there's someone compared to you and all that. So when I left that job after so many years of being a part of that toxicity, and of being a part of believing that I wasn't enough, or being a part of believing that regardless of what I do, there'll be fault at it, I got into a new job, and I got in with like, can't be bothered, it's not my business. Is it my work? Is it my work? Is it my contract? Do I have any business with this? If I see something that is not me, I walk out. And then I had this conversation with a colleague who also happens to be a friend. And she had just said something in passing, and I just said something in passing that had to do with work. And I'm grateful to her that she was so observant that, we had a talk that evening, and she said, I noticed that, like, your contribution levels when it's something that is not particular to your project, you do not contribute. And you seem to know so much about this, but you're not contributing. And then, luckily enough, I was able to speak to her and tell her where I was coming from and talk to her about my past. And that it was such a healing moment for me, because she said, yeah, this person hurts you, this work has hurt you, but this is a new job. Give this place an opportunity. Give it a try. Do this, stuff like that. Like, it's different, right? And she said something I really like. And she said, okay, let's say it doesn't even work out well. You can never take out the lessons you have learned. And she said, even in that job, you felt like, oh, this has happened. Look back, you had learned so many things, right? I mean, at least you have learned to take your contract seriously. You've learned to read. You've learned to know what to ask for, right? Like, read your contract well, or get someone to read it. You've learned to ask for, know your worth and ask for it. So why not, instead of shutting out, why not apply the things you learned from that job and put it here? And trust me, that was one of the best life advice that I got, because from that day I cried about it. I cried about it, and I healed. I looked for ways to heal, and I was like, you know what? It's going to be a lesson. And I'm so grateful that I did it, because which is still my current job. And I can say it's been one of the best years of my life, because I have had to learn. I've had to work in all departments and not just limit myself to what I've been told to do. And that way I carry that same energy to my everyday life, even my own personal work, right? So healing from past relationships is very important. Healing from an absent father. I was watching this documentary yesterday on Netflix. It's called Daughters. It was so amazing. So like, just seeing these kids I hadn't seen their dad in a while, because their dad was in jail and all that, and they had to organize a dance. I felt it was so, I mean, it was so amazing, right? But one of my favorite characters in that was this little girl who, like, came there and she hadn't healed. and she was not afraid to say she hadn't healed. Like, she was not going to force the relationship. Like, even when they were dancing, you could just see she was like, okay. When they released her dad, she was like, you're back. Are you gonna do it again? Have you changed? Like, you're not going to keep messing with me. And she made her dad work for it, right? She made her dad work for that relationship. Like, you're not just going to come and say, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to like work for it. And, I was happy to hear that right now they are building their relationship, that they're actually close. So, I liked that character because it was reality. Sometimes we're just being forced to feel like, oh, we have to heal. But again, I was just like so worried about her, like, oh, this lady needs to heal, because if she doesn't heal, she's going to carry it over to her relationship. And one other lady, right, one other girl who is really young, her dad was in jail as well. And this girl said, I don't want to get married. And if I ever get married, I don't want to have kids. Even if I want to have kids, I want to have them when I'm like older, because she is seeing what her mom is going through. And, you know, look at how she's making her life decisions just based on that. So you clearly know that if that girl doesn't heal, the person she's gonna date is is gonna be in trouble, right? So that's what I mean by healing, right? When someone has healed, you understand that yes, we all have a past, something has happened, but how have I healed from this? What do I do when I talk about my work? Like right now, I just told you guys a story of my work. Few years ago, I wouldn't have talked about that job without crying. I wouldn't have talked about it without feeling so sad, without probably ruining my entire day. That's how bad it was. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. That's how bad it was. But because I had healed, and it was such a process, because I had healed, I'm now able to like talk about it and even teach people coming up about this. Now, a healed man understands boundaries. He's not afraid when you set healthy boundaries in a relationship. He's not paranoid. He's not thinking like you're going to walk away like his mom. He's not going to wake up in the night and feel like, get scared that when you go to take that job, you will never come back and you probably run away with another man, just like what his mother did or what his last girlfriend did. No, a healed man understands healthy boundaries and even sets healthy boundaries for himself, right? Yeah, so he sets healthy boundaries for himself and also understands your own boundary and is not paranoid. Yeah, because when you're very paranoid, what that leads to is that you are possessive, like, there's a thin line between being jealous, because when you're in a relationship with someone and probably the person's having a good time without you, you have this thing of, oh, I'm jealous, I wish I was there. But then there's a thin line with jealousy and possessiveness where you now don't even want the person to leave. It feels like if the person is happy without you, the world is coming to an end, like what is happening. So a healed man understands boundaries. Now, most importantly, I want us to understand that healing is a journey. Don't force it. And if you are not ready, do not use one relationship to heal the other. Like, I believe that if you're getting into a relationship, you should have healed a good, like, I don't want to give a percentage, but a very good percentage. Yeah. My current relationship, I will say I fully healed in my relationship. But for me to even start, when I started the relationship, I broke like everything, my best friend, my relationship, everything, even my friend that I spoke about, we used to fight like every other day, because at that time I hadn't fully healed. So if you really want to have like a successful relationship, be around people who enjoy your company. Trust me, you yourself owe yourself to take out time to heal yourself to a certain percentage, because when you heal yourself, you're able to take up the healing, the advice that people are willing to give you. Let's just say you have a friend, right? And every day you're just dumping on your friend, you're talking, and your friend is advising you about this. At some point, that friend becomes like, no, if this person is calling me now, they are just about to tell me negative things. They're about to, like, I am not here. I am not here. So that friend goes from being there for you to also protecting their own mental health, because when by the time they take up too much, it's like it's now affecting them. So it's important that you yourself take the step to healing, right? Like I said, be it a one parent home, be it like two parents, whatever, wherever you're coming from, take your time to heal. There is always something to heal from. And if you have that notion in your head that because this person was not raised by a father, that means this person is not a good husband, that is wrong. That is wrong. You do not judge people by their past, you judge people by who they are today, right? Because I've even seen situations, like I spoke about in my previous videos, where people who were not raised by fathers went ahead to become amazing fathers because they're like, I have been here. I know what it is, and I'm going to make sure that no one's daughter goes through this. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, people who actually take out time to heal, it's just like intentional parents, people who are very intentional about parenting, about friendship, they're usually like the most amazing because they are very intentional about everything they say. You know, like when you're growing up, when your parents are mad at you, they can just say things. But right now, because we're so intentional and we know how these things affect children, even when you're scolding your child, you're very intentional not to use words that bring them down. That is the same thing, with a healed man. So please do remember, healing is a journey. It's going to take a while. Take your time, go through all the stages, but most importantly, heal. Yeah, heal. Do not be afraid to show your weakness. Do not be afraid. Like, you are not alone. We all healed, and we're all constantly healing every day. I do hope you enjoy this message, and if you would like me to touch on any other thing, please do feel free to drop it here on my comment section, or just like you guys do, you can also send me a DM on Instagram. And of course, I'm here for you guys. I'm always willing to share my experience with you all. Thank you so much, and stay blessed.